Why are world leaders afraid of Marcos Jr.? Is there a new force to be reckoned with on the world stage? A new player who is not just making waves, but creating a storm of change? One that has global leaders watching with a mix of caution and apprehension? A figure whose every move is scrutinized, whose every word is analyzed for deeper meaning? Look no further than the Philippines, where President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has taken the reins of power. His ascent to the presidency has been swift, but it is his actions since taking office that have truly captured the world's attention. His rise has been nothing short of meteoric, but it's his unwavering commitment to his nation's interests that has truly shaken the global establishment. Marcos Jr. has made it clear that he is here to prioritize the Philippines, and he will not be swayed by external pressures. Marcos Jr. is not afraid to ruffle feathers. He has shown a willingness to challenge the status quo, to question long-standing alliances, and to forge new paths for his country. He is not afraid to stand up for what he believes in. Whether it's in the face of international criticism or domestic opposition, Marcos Jr. remains steadfast in his vision for the Philippines. This is a man who puts the Philippines first, no matter the cost. His policies reflect a deep-seated belief in the potential of his nation and a determination to see it realized. Some might call him headstrong, even defiant. His approach is not without its critics, both at home and abroad, yet it is this very defiance that has earned him a loyal following. But his supporters see something else entirely, a leader who is unafraid to fight for his people and his nation's rightful place in the world. To them, Marcos Jr. represents hope, strength, and a break from the past. This boldness, this unwavering commitment is what has sent ripples through the world's capitals. His actions have forced other nations to take notice, to reconsider their strategies and their assumptions about the Philippines. The old guard, accustomed to predictable players and easily swayed pawns, now find themselves facing a leader cut from a different cloth. Marcos Jr. is not a man to be underestimated or ignored. A leader who demands respect and will not be ignored. As the world watches, one thing is clear. The Philippines, under Marcos Jr., is a nation on the rise, ready to claim its place on the global stage. Marcos Jr. Des Metal has been tested time and again. He has faced down domestic challenges with unwavering resolve. He has navigated complex international waters with a steady hand. He has not backed down from controversy, choosing instead to confront it head-on. His critics may underestimate him, they may mistake his quiet demeanor for weakness, but beneath the surface lies a core of steel, forged in the fires of political battles and tempered by the weight of his family's legacy. This inner strength is what allows him to stand firm in the face of pressure. It's what gives him the confidence to chart his own course, even when it means going against the grain, and it's this very quality that has world leaders taking notice. They see in Marcos Jr. a man who cannot be easily swayed, a man who will not be bullied. Marcos Jr. is not simply a strong man. He is a shrewd political operator, a master strategist playing chess on the global stage. He understands the delicate balance of power and knows how to leverage it to his advantage. He has cultivated relationships with key players, forging alliances that bolster the Philippines' position. He has played his cards close to his chest, keeping his opponents guessing. His moves are calculated, his words carefully chosen. There is a purpose behind every action, a long-term vision driving his every decision. This strategic thinking, this ability to outmaneuver and outthink his rivals, is what makes him truly formidable. World leaders, accustomed to dealing with predictable players, are now facing a master tactician, and that more than anything is what strikes fear into their hearts. Section 4. The Dragon's Embrace. One of the most significant geopolitical shifts under Marcos Jr. T's leadership is the Philippines' evolving relationship with China. This relationship has been marked by a series of strategic moves and diplomatic engagements that have redefined the regional dynamics. While previous administrations had taken a more adversarial stance, Marcos Jr. has opted for a more pragmatic approach. This shift is not just a change in policy, but a reflection of a broader vision for the future of the Philippines. He recognizes the economic and political realities of the region and is not afraid to engage with China on his terms. By doing so, he aims to harness the economic potential that a closer relationship with China can bring, from increased trade to infrastructure investments. This pivot towards Beijing has sent shockwaves through the West. Western nations, particularly the United States, have long viewed the Philippines as a critical ally in the Asia-Pacific region. For decades, the Philippines was seen as a staunch ally of the United States, a bulwark against Chinese expansionism in the region. The historical ties between the Philippines and the US are deep, rooted in shared history and mutual defense agreements. But Marcos Jr. is not afraid to challenge the status quo. He is willing to redefine these long-standing relationships to better serve the interests of his nation. He's putting the interests of his own nation first, even if it means forging new partnerships. This includes signing new agreements that promise to bring economic growth and development to the Philippines. This strategic realignment has left many world leaders scrambling to adjust their strategies. The shifting alliances in Asia are creating a new geopolitical landscape that requires careful navigation. They fear the growing influence of China in the region and the potential for the Philippines to become a key player in Beijing's orbit. The South China Sea, a critical maritime route, has become a focal point of this power struggle with both military and economic implications. For the people of the Philippines, these changes are more than just political maneuvers. They represent opportunities for economic growth, improved infrastructure, and a better quality of life. The Dragon's Embrace is not just a geopolitical strategy, it is a vision for a prosperous future. As Marcos Jr. continues to navigate these complex waters, the world watches closely. His leadership will shape the future of the Philippines and its place in the global order. The Dragon's Embrace is a bold move, one that could redefine the balance of power in Asia for years to come. Echoes of the past. The name Marcos carries weight in the Philippines. It is a name that resonates deeply within the national consciousness, stirring a mix of emotions and memories. It evokes a complex history, one marked by both progress and controversy. The Marcos era is remembered for its infrastructure projects and economic initiatives, but also for its human rights abuses and corruption. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the son of the late President Ferdinand Marcos Sr., whose rule was marked by both economic growth and authoritarianism. The elder Marcos's presidency saw the implementation of martial law, a period that left an indelible mark on the nation's history. The sins of the father, as they say, often cast a long shadow. This shadow looms large over Marcos Jr., influencing public perception and political discourse. Some world leaders view Marcos Jr. with suspicion, seeing in him a reflection of his father's regime. They worry that he might revive the authoritarian practices that characterized his father's rule. They fear a return to a more authoritarian style of governance, one that could have implications for human rights and democratic values in the region. The specter of past abuses haunts the present, making it difficult for Marcos Jr. to escape his father's legacy. This historical baggage, this fear of the past repeating itself, adds another layer of complexity to Marcos Jr. As international relations, every diplomatic move he makes is scrutinized through the lens of his father's actions. It creates a sense of uncertainty, a sense that he is an unknown quantity, capable of great things, but also potentially dangerous. The world watches closely, waiting to see if he will chart a new course or follow in the footsteps of his father. The echoes of the past are ever present, shaping the narrative of the present and the future. Section 6. A new economic order? Marcos Jr. has made economic development a cornerstone of his presidency. He has implemented policies aimed at attracting foreign investment, boosting domestic industries, and uplifting the lives of ordinary Filipinos. His ambitious agenda has garnered praise from some quarters, but it has also sparked concern among others. Some world leaders fear that Marcos Jr.'s economic policies could disrupt the existing global order. They worry that his focus on national self-sufficiency could lead to protectionist measures, potentially sparking trade wars and harming global economic growth. This uncertainty about the long-term impact of his economic policies adds to the sense of unease among some world leaders. They are watching closely, trying to decipher his moves and anticipate the potential consequences. Marcos Jr. is acutely aware of the weight of history on his shoulders. He knows that he is not just leading a nation, but also grappling with the legacy of his family name. This duality, this constant interplay between past and present, shapes his every decision and colors his every interaction on the world stage. Some world leaders see in him a chance for redemption, an opportunity to forge a new path for the Philippines and redefine the Marcos legacy. Others remain skeptical, waiting for him to prove that he is not simply a product of his past, that he can chart his own course and lead his nation into a brighter future. This constant tension, this struggle between legacy and aspiration, makes Marcos Jr. a fascinating and unpredictable figure on the world stage.